Ja, unglaublich, aber wahr. Eigentlich ist er schon weg, eigentlich schon auf dem Weg zum Flughafen. Wir hatten trotzdem die Gelegenheit, nochmal ein Interview mit Peter Molyneux zu führen. Da gehe ich jetzt gleich rein, aber ich fürchte, ich bin etwas nervös.
Hey, du Goa, was ist denn los?
Ich bin nervös.
Soll ich machen?
Weil das Peter ist. Ja,
komm,
ja.
Ich mach das. Peter Molyneux, großartig, ist hier auf der Gamescom und stellt Fable 3 vor. Wieder mal. Aber das tut nichts zur Sache, denn man spricht immer gerne mit einem Erfinder von großartigen Serien, Black and White, Fable und so ziemlich jedem innovativen Spiel, was man so in den letzten 20 Jahren gesehen hat. Das Ganze gibt's nur bei Peter Molyneux. Ich darf jetzt gleich mit dem reden. Ich freue mich so. So, Mr. Molyneux, thank you for having you here. And you're currently developing the third installment of your Fable series.
Yep.
And you told me that there are certain parts of your second game that you didn't like. I think these are the parts that you are addressing for the third part. Could you name some enhancements that you did from the second part to the third part?
Sure. I mean, here's the thing: is you know, you kind of, when you finish the game, you look back on it. I go into a shop and I buy a copy and I sit at home and I play it, really for the first real time, even though you play it thousands of times beforehand. And you know, I came and I read all the reviews that people like you wrote, and I went on the boards and saw the stuff that you guys wrote, and you know, you said the same things, and I agreed with you. Co-op was rubbish. It was rubbish. You know, the camera was attached, and you couldn't. You came in as this weird henchman thing. So we've changed that. Now co-op, you come in as your own hero. You're detached. That horrible 2D interface. There was no map. There was no sense to it. There was too many gimmicks. And they go, I agree. I completely. You're the ones that say I totally agree when I played the game. So we've removed all the gimmicks. Now everything you do in Fable gains you followers. Followers equals your level, your power-ups. Totally agree with you. The story in Fable 1 and Fable 2 kind of, yeah, it was okay, but it didn't really quite make sense. I totally agree with you. The story in Fable 3 is all about you becoming king and then ruling Albion afterwards. So there is this long list of things which me as a designer, just because I've been around, doesn't mean that I don't make horrendous, terrible mistakes. And you know, I agree with most of the ones that you guys said. So I'm just saying what you said. I don't know.
So speaking about followers, you pretty much revamped all of the experience systems that are out there. So explain us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I mean, I love leveling up. I love role-playing games. I play role-playing games just to level up. But I wonder why that a lot of the games that I played, including Fable 1 and Fable 2, the leveling up is the same. You level up, the creatures level up. You level up, the creatures level up, and it's all about combat. So in Fable 3, now you don't get experience anymore. You get these things called followers. Followers, the more followers you have, the closer you are to being the rebel powerful enough to overthrow the king. You need followers to stay king. But the interesting thing is that we use followers to allow you to unlock these gameplay chests. Gameplay chests hold whole bits of gameplay. Getting married is a piece of gameplay. Fighting with swords is a piece of gameplay. Fighting with magic, weaving magic is a piece of gameplay. The ability to buy and sell and play the economic sim in Fable is a piece of gameplay. As you go up these levels and go through these gates, by earning followers, you unlock these gameplay chests, which allow you to kind of craft your own Fable experience.
So most of your games are somewhere around creating or transforming your own personality into the game, like with The Sims or Black and White, where you had your pet. And do you think Fable 3 will be another step on the path of transforming or bringing your own personality as a gamer into the game, especially when you look back on your career as a rebel and as king and look what you have become, if that is a mirror of your own personality?
Absolutely. I mean, I love this idea is that, you know, for every choice a consequence. And now, you know, Fable 1 and Fable 2 is about about yourself and what people thought of you. But now you're going to be king, man. You're going to be ruling. Now your choices and consequences is, do these people starve or these people starve? Do I turn this prison into a lovely house of pleasure, or do I keep it as a prison? Do I try and eradicate crime? They make a difference to everybody in Albion. So your world and my world can be different. And also, depending on what gameplay chest you open, my gameplay can be different to your gameplay. Depending on how I fight, because we've got these morphing weapons that customize your combat to the way that you fight. My weapon is different to your weapon. My hero is different to your hero. Almost every aspect of the game allows you to be yourself.
So you're certainly not new to the game design branche, and you've designed tons of. No, oh God. And what are the influences you take when you're designing a game, especially like Fable 3, where we can see that you did this, you have some sort of own handwriting with the pause menu where that is quite like black and white. Where do you take your influences?
I mean, some of the influences, I have got this sneaky trick, which I'll tell you about. I have got an alias, which no one knows what this alias is, where I can go on to the community boards, I can slag my own games off as much as I like because people don't know me. And I get a lot of inspiration from what people say on those boards, both good and bad things.
So you're actually flaming your own games?
Absolutely. I've actually been banned from one of my own boards for a while, which is result. I've said worse things than anybody else. I take a lot of inspiration from that. I take a lot of inspiration as when you're explaining an idea that you had to people, if you don't see a little spark of enjoyment in their eyes, then I take inspiration from that. I take inspiration from, playing other games and watching other films and listening to music. So, it comes from everywhere.
So one last question. When we take a look at the games that are presented, especially here at Gamescom 2010, we see an awful lot of series that have 5 parts, 3 parts, 6 parts. In my opinion, there is some lack of innovation or intention of the industry to do something new. Why do you think they are so scared about some innovation?
Well, here's the interesting thing for me is, in one sense I agree with you, is that if you think of a lot of the big games like films, there are a lot of sort of sequels here. But in another sense, if I look at some devices that we're using now to play our games on, whether they be phones, whether they be pads, whether they be the PC again, there seems to be a lot of innovation in there. So you've got these two forces working. You've got a lot of small, bite-sized experiences down here, which remind me of when I first got in the industry. And you've got these monster, big epics, these AAA titles that cost millions and millions to make. Now, I know that designers on these big games are being inspired by these small games. And the great thing is, even though it's X titled 3, 4, 5, I'm still seeing a lot of innovation in those titles. So, I'm very hopeful. It is very tough, though, to get people to sort of get excited about a new concept. If I said, for example, I'm doing a game, it's kind of set on the planet Mars, would that excite you? I mean, it's tough. Yeah. Where if I said, I'm doing a game, it's Fable 3 or 4 or 5 or Halo 5, you've already got all these fans out there, so you can't blame people.
All right. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
That's it. Peter Molyneux, bye-bye.